Affordability. Just do it. I mean it. I really do. You just don't know till you try what you can do and what you can't do, what you can afford. Okay. When you see everybody you know living in middle-class home, granite countertops, dishwasher, washer-dryer, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, do you think that's what you have to do? Or for some reason, is there some motivation that says other people won't respect you if you don't do exactly what they've done? Do you have to always follow others? Or can you sometimes step out of the box? We stepped out of the box. It wasn't easy. I gotta tell you, it wasn't easy. We were living in an RV and trying to build an eco village. It was before Y2K, the change in the computers, in case you don't know what that is, when they thought that everything might go to fall apart. Okay, they actually spent $300 billion to $600 billion solving the problem. But at the time, people didn't know they were going to solve the problem. My father died in '86, and he told me it was going to be a very big problem in December of 1999. So my dream had always been to go back to the farm. I was born on a farm. I was going to go back. So we did. We just did it. Just do it. And we actually lived on $109 a month, but that would be misrepresenting, because what I did was put 109 in and inflate it up to 2026, and that's $220 a month. So what I'm saying is we had 109 to spend from the government because my husband was given a 10% disability for 14 months before they finally recognized that he was 100% disabled. But they only gave him 10% to start with, so that's what we lived on. And if that was put into today's money, that would be $220. So it's really important to be realistic about this, because when I tell you that cigarettes were 25 cents a pack, I got to tell you what year that was, okay? Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. You can't compare it to anything. You have to be able to compare what's going on then to what's going on now as it relates to inflation. How'd we do it? I'm not sure how we did it. And that's not what this video's about. This video's about looking at affordability, trying to figure out how you want to live. How can you do what you want to do without having to follow everybody else? And every time I've done it, and I've done it more than once, I've done it a lot of times. I've lived in 3 different RVs, trailers, just trailers that didn't have a bathroom, you know. I've lived in tents. I've lived on a sailboat. Yeah. And when I look back, my next birthday will be 80. And when I look back, I go, wow, some of my best memories were when things were tough, when money wasn't the real motivator. Well, it's not a real motivator for me anyway. I mean, I have to admit that. It's not really a motivator for me. I wanted to live life. I never thought I'd see 50. I thought there was a possibility I'd be gone by 35 because of childhood illnesses and family genetics. So I wanted to live fast. And the more I've lived, the more I've realized that I can remember so clearly sitting at a table with my parents and them telling me, no, you can't spend $3 for that shrimp dinner because we have to save money for retirement. Okay, so we were traveling. We're military, and we were always traveling here and there and moving. That was just part of the whole process. And so it was another move, and I was told, we have to save money for retirement. Okay. My mother died at 65. She had 1 month of Social Security. 1 month. That was it. They saved their entire life. I heard it all the time. I was an only child, so they were constantly saying, we have to save for retirement, we have to save for retirement. My dad, he made it to 69. And the lady that he married took everything except the house that he signed over to me. Otherwise, if he hadn't signed it over to me, she'd gotten that too. But she took everything. All of his savings, everything was gone. So they spent, well, I guess since my age of 12 until they died, reminding me that they always had to save for retirement. My mother got 1 month. My dad got 4 years. So I looked at life differently from the beginning because, I mean, from an early age, because I knew I'd been really sick and I knew that the statistics were poor. So I wanted to live fast. I didn't want to worry about retirement. So guess what? I don't have any retirement money. I have a little Social Security and that's it. But I found a way. This home, just nice home, show you. Nice home. It's nice, comfortable. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Big living room, good-sized kitchen, no dishwasher. Washer, our washer, we bought it. No dryer. No microwave. I hang my clothes outside and I don't use a microwave. I have a second stove over there though. I have 2 stoves. Because, you know, it's a little apartment stove. You can buy a lot of things secondhand. You can do a lot of things to meet your dreams and not give up on that and not wait forever. I have so many friends over the years who said, well, when I retire, yeah. I saw what happened to my folks and I've seen it happen to other people. And some people die in childhood. I had a friend who was a teenager when he put his head through a mailbox because he was driving a motorcycle too fast. The other day there was a young father going down one of these roads, hit a rock truck, died. 2 children left behind. My point is, affordability is what you make it. We pay $500 a month for this house. Nice house. Big patios, 5 acres of land out there, gardens, chickens, chickens. You have to think outside the box if you want to do things in your youth and make sure you have the experiences. Oh man, we have some of the most amazing experiences. You see the 2 of us sitting in the window of our straw bale living room. We called that our dream window. And it became reality. We finished it. We had an enormous, I think it was 1,500 square feet living room. The floors, well, now that was something else. The kitchen floor was concrete blocks on dirt. There was no concrete foundation. The ceiling was many panels of plastic so that we get the light, the heat. We're pretty high, and it was cool and windy. We had solar power. We had wind power. But we didn't buy food. No, we bought dog food. We had one dog, one small dog, and then we had one rescue dog. But we also gave the dog, scraps that we had left. I never, well, at the time, my husband didn't eat meat either, so neither one of us were eating meat. We ate vegetables. We grew them. At night, in mid-afternoon, I'd go see what was ready in the garden, and that's what we ate. And are we sorry? No. Are we still healthy? Yeah. So affordability is about looking at what you want from life from another aspect other than 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a big mortgage, or $2,000 a month in rent. You can live in a tent for less than $2,000 a month, And if you live in a tent, you can take your kids to walk along the river. You might find a neighbor who is driving their kids to school, or the school bus comes by. You've got to think outside the box. You just can't think the way everyone else does. Otherwise, you won't make it. Healthcare is a problem. You got to live in a state that has some kind of general health care. We were living in Arizona, and they had health care. Was it the best? No. But it was good. It was good enough. Good enough that we came away alive and with lots of amazing memories. There's so much about those years. We lived 12 years on that property. We raised a baby owl. I confronted a cougar one day. Oh, it was an amazing experience. My husband had gotten up early to see where it was summer solstice, and he wanted to see exactly where the sun fell on our circle, our ritual circle outside the living room, where we looked at the moon and we watched the stars. He wanted to see where the sun fell, so he did that, and I had on a white bathrobe. It was really early in the morning, and I had walked up the hill in a white bathrobe. And when I was coming back down, I think I had some flowers or something I was going to bring to the circle to honor the earth. For us, it's all about honoring the earth. Anyway, I was walking down, and I looked off to the distance, and there's a cougar. Now, that's my sacred animal, so I was really excited. Looked like probably a female, looked like a young female. And she stopped, and she turned, and she looked at me with incredible lack of any emotion other than curiosity. That's all I saw in her face was curiosity. And I knew that if she became aggressive, all I had to do was put my arms up and my legs out in that white robe, and I would appear to her bigger than I was. That's the advice I was given, so I knew I wasn't a problem. So I just watched her. And she finally turned around and walked down the wash. A wash is like a ravine. Sometimes it has water in it when there's big rains, but otherwise it's not a river, it's just a wash. It's when the water washes through in the desert. This was in the desert in Arizona. And there's so many memories of people stopping by, learning how to make straw bale, learning about dry stack concrete, learning about Papercrete. of talking about earthships. We had spent a couple of years just traveling the United States, looking at different communities to see what kind of eco-villages, what kind of buildings people were building, with trailers, cars, trucks, buses. I mean, we saw so many differences, it wasn't even funny. But you had to remember, stay away from planning and zoning. Always look for areas where planning and zoning is not a part of what's going on in your area, because they will stop everything you're trying to do just to save the earth, where they're being nudged by corporations, by the local wood plant that planes and makes wood, and the plant that has concrete, and the plant that sells drywall, and the plant that sells roofing material. They're all pushing, push. They want to make it as expensive and modern as possible, which means mortgage. And I don't know if you follow the housing market, but it gets really out of hand, and you can't move, you can't change place, you can't travel, there's so many things you give up for 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. And then what happens? You get a divorce. Somebody dies. The breadwinner dies. Taxes change. Mom and dad get sick and you have to go take care of them. One of the things that we realize is we no longer live in indigenous villages where everybody takes care of everybody. We all change jobs about every 5 to 7 years. And that's probably a long time for a lot of people. I used to have 3 jobs. 3 different kinds of employment places. But only for a short while. Then I would travel or move or just create memories and get by. Still doing fine. Was I wealthy? Did I have a Lamborghini? No. No. Did I have a retirement package? No. But I had my dogs, I had my husband, I had my memories. And when I look back, wow, did I leave my daughter a big heritage? No. Does she care? No, because she did a lot better than I did. So it's not a problem. Remember, you just can't count on much. The only constant in life is change. And if you never forget that, you'd be so much better off, because you're constantly adapting to something else that some government or some administrator or somebody somewhere has put together. You just can't count on much of anything. There used to be, when my father was young, when I was young, and he would talk to me, he said, well, you can always count on Social Security. That was the best thing they ever did. Now, everybody's got at least something that they can count on in their old age. How many times have I heard the government say they're going to change Social Security? Over and over and over again. And I know, if you have a successful mother or father, maybe they're a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant or some very high-level professional who's likely to have a beautiful home and lots of permanence. And you say, I just want to travel. And they go, you're nuts. Rethink that. Do you want to make memories, or do you want to tie yourself to one place for your entire lives? You have to choose those things. You really have to choose those things. You have to know what makes you happy. I love to garden. I really love to garden. I love to have animals. I love to have space. I love to have quiet. Always wanted that. But you know what? Everywhere I've gone, I've figured out how to garden, have space, and have animals. And I've got the memories. I don't have a Lamborghini. I don't even have a car now. It's just, I call somebody and they come and get me. But I don't go away much. That you have to discover too. And you have to discover, do you really want nightlife? Wow, if you want nightlife with friends, you're going to have to live in the city. But you could live in the basement or an attic and have the money to go for the nightlife and have a job that you may only work part-time so that you can have the time with your friends, or be an artist, a writer. Life is short. You can't count on much of anything other than change. So when you're looking at affordability, think about what alternatives there are out there. Homelessness is not a good alternative. No, I'm not saying that. Don't think that's what I'm saying at all, because I'm not. But I'm saying doing what you want to do in life, enjoying life, being who you are, making memories, and finding out how to get by might be a better way to look at life. And to always say, well, I've got to have a dishwasher. What'll it do to my hands? Well, I'm almost 80, still got hands. I crochet all the time. I type constantly. I write. But I've got to have a microwave. It takes so long. Well, does it really? Does it? Think about it. I've got to live in the city. Do you? Think about what you want. I would write down 2 sides, want, don't want, and really, really look at it. But don't count on living to be old. I counted on dying by 50, so here I am. And yet, every day I'm grateful. Every day I say, "Woo, thanks, one more day." But I didn't count on it. And I've got great memories because of it. Just amazing memories. How did we live on $220 a month? Well, we grew our food. We didn't drive much. We rarely went to town. People ask us what we did for fun, and we used to tell them we picked cactus spines out of each other's behind because we bent over and hit the cactus. It was a joke, of course, but gosh, we saw the Gila monsters. We saw the rattlesnakes. We looked at all kinds of different plants. We learned how to work with the cactus. We sold a bunch of cactus. That was one of the ways we made money. We sold the cactus. We sold it. That was on the interstate in Tucson. They bought it from us. We had lots of cactus. We just had to get the tags. It wasn't easy. But we made some money that way. But our only steady income was $109 a month from the Veterans Administration for almost 2 years. Yep. We waited and waited, and we had to file all the paperwork. It was really quite a mess, which is $220 today. Okay, so you've got something to work with. You got some ideas. You got an old fart here who's telling you that when I look back, the choices I made were absolutely unconventional, and I'm not sorry. I'm really not sorry. I had great memories. I've lived almost 30 years longer than I ever thought I'd be. I've had some amazing experience, met some phenomenal people, learned about so much about different plants and animals and fruits and vegetables, and I've seen so many things because I've been ready to jump to an opportunity. And that's what you got to do. you see something that you know is what you really would like to do, do it. Because if you don't, you're going to look back and say, why didn't I do that when I had the chance? Is that where you want to be? Ask yourself, is that where I want to be? If it is, that's okay. If you choose the 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in one place for your entire life, that's fine if that's what you want. I'm just saying, if affordability is an issue, keep in mind there are alternatives, and there are alternatives not just for money, but for adventures, for experiences, for memories. Thanks.